WWE and TNA talent in disbelief over Tessa Blanchard's return. Plus, we have an update on an absent AEW team. And could TNA be making a major change to one of their titles? It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now. Friday night at TNA Final Resolution, we saw the return of Tessa Blanchard attacking Jordynne Grace, and much to the shock of the entire wrestling world, it would seem. Mixed reaction online, to put it lightly. But I'd say probably more leaning towards the negative than the positive. But despite that, online, it's like social media-wise, it's been a success because it's had over 1 million views on TNA socials.
It has
currently,
but it has also led to a bit of controversy with other members of the roster and stuff. The current TNA X Division champion Moose has been very much in support of Tessa's return, but has thereby had some arguments with fans online who were less big fans of the news.
Yeah, I think slanging matches between fans and Moose have occurred since then. It was a surprise to all of us to see Tessa Blanchard back in a TNA ring. Fightful Select reporting that it's not just fans that are shocked by Tessa's comeback.
Yeah, Fightful says they've spoken to talent in AEW, WWE and TNA on Thursday in disbelief. This was when the news first emerged that Tessa would be coming back. In disbelief that the company was moving in that direction. The news was kept away from the entire roster as of the time of the details emerging, and even many of the staff who are usually in the know were kept in the dark as well. Fightful are told this was done intentionally as there was a fear of backlash internally. There are some people that remain with the company that have remained friends with Tessa, but one person in the know said that the hope is that there's enough new talent to work with that they haven't soured on her.
Tessa's first TNA run, of course, ended in 2020, being stripped of the world title amid allegations of racism and bullying from talent across the wrestling world. It looked initially like Tessa Blanchard was going to be leaving TNA and heading to WWE, but once these allegations came to the fore, those conversations went very, very quiet, and Tessa Blanchard sort of disappeared for a while. This shock return to TNA, according to Fightful Select sources, comes as a push to bring in some new faces, because it looks as if TNA are going to be losing Speedball Mike Bailey and Jordynne Grace next year, possibly Josh Alexander as well. He was on Chris Van Vliet's show talking about his nervous excitement about becoming a free agent. So there could be somewhat a talent exodus for TNA next year, and this is kind of them, for better or for worse, sort of rebuilding their roster.
Yeah, and interestingly, according again to Fightful, this might be something that even one of those names mentioned isn't too happy with, because Fightful reports the plan is for Jordynne Grace to work a program with Tessa Blanchard, as you'd expect given the way the match happened over the weekend. But this was apparently something that Fightful were told that Jordynne Grace herself has pushed back on.
Can confirm, though, that since that report happened, that obviously TNA Impact tapings have taken place. Okay. And that program, I'm not going to give too much away, but that program has begun.
Okay,
so whether there was any reservations about it to begin with, it seems like there were. The storyline is happening and we're underway.
What I would say is, if you're signing someone and you've had to keep most of the roster in the dark because you fear a backlash, that might not be a good sign. The backlash might not just magically go away because you've covered their eyes until they've turned up and you've gone, oh! So
you surprised me, so I'll forgive you.
Yeah, we've seen moments in wrestling where we've heard that the roster have been kept in the dark before to prevent leaks and that sort of thing. CM Punk coming back at Survivor Series was apparently known by very few. And in that behind-the-scenes video of him in Gorilla making his return and getting ready and everything, we see Bailey's reaction and she can't believe it. And she's going, oh my God, I need to see this. That's a nice example of the roster being kept in the dark. It's a lovely surprise for her. But in this instance, I wonder if maybe this isn't the last we talk about this situation.
It's one that we'll definitely keep an eye on at cultaholic.com. Over to AEW, where one particular team has been absent for some time, and it's looking as if we know why, doesn't it, Jack?
Yeah, and it's sad because I'm a fan of these boys. I find them very entertaining. But there's been no sightings of the Gun Club for almost 3 months now, and Fightful Select have revealed why. Sean Ross Sapp spoke to numerous sources at WrestleCade and on the AEW roster, who confirmed that Austin Gunn has been sidelined with an injury, which has led to him and his brother Colton not being used on TV for that time period. So that's a massive shame, because I think that both those guys have shown enough charisma that I think they could be used without the other one necessarily having to be there, especially because they're affiliated with Juice Robinson and Jay White.
Yeah, but now Juice Robinson's out of the picture as well.
They're affiliated with Jay White.
And Jay White's doing his solo thing at the moment.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think the Bang Bang Gang is on a somewhat indefinite hiatus.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because, as like yourself, I was a big fan of
I found them funny.
the entrance, if nothing else.
Oh, it's fantastic.
That's wonderful.
They're great heels, but they're also, as they've proven, they can be like great sort of anti-hero baby faces as well. They're not good guys, but they're not bad guys anymore.
They're the guys.
Yeah, the guys. And also, I think that maybe on the positive side, this sort of absence could at least maybe give them a bit of a momentum boost when they do return as a team.
Very, very likely indeed. Fightful Select reporting that NXT is going to be finishing up on December the 19th for the year with a taping at the Performance Center. So they're taping as normal on Tuesday, then they're going to do another one on Thursday, and then the talent can all go home for Christmas, basically.
It's a slightly better time now to be a wrestler in WWE.
Yeah, it's almost, there were points where you felt like with the old regime, they were just doing things, not because they felt like it was important for business, but just doing it out of spite.
Yeah, reminding everyone we're in charge. And you can't have nice things.
Yeah, I don't want to spend Christmas Day with my family, so neither will you.
So nobody can.
So nobody can.
Yeah.
That was not naming any names. Damn it. But some other NXT news to share. An NXT team have gone and won themselves an indie title.
I couldn't believe this when you shared this in our news chat.
Great news.
I was like, I thought I was seeing things. At Reality of Wrestling Sub-Zero show in Texas City.
Second Mortal Kombat reference of the day, by the way, if you watched that first one.
I was more of a Scorpion guy. In Texas City this past Saturday, NXT's Hank Walker and Tank Ledger, aka Hank and Tank, honk honk. That's their catchphrase.
It's Kate from Fightful's catchphrase because she's a silly goose.
Oh, fair enough. They challenged ROW's tag team champions Fly Def, and shortly afterwards they became the Reality of Wrestling tag team champions. This marks their first ever title win as a team, not just outside of WWE. They've never won a belt in NXT. They've never won a belt on the main roster. Obviously, they've not been there yet. This is their first tag team gold ever, and I think it's a good sign for their future because WWE must see something in them if they're going to do this.
Well, they've been working with the Good Brothers until recently on dark matches for NXT. Like you've got this Good Brothers versus Hank and Tank sort of non-televised story that's been happening. I think there's a great upside with Hank and Tank. I think with Hank and Tank you can right some of the wrongs that you made with Heavy Machinery.
I think they're obviously slightly different gimmick to Otis and Tucker, but the spirit's very much the same.
The spirit is there of just beefy boys.
Yeah, having fun. Having
big
a great
beefy
time.
boys having a lovely time.
Yeah, they're such a throwback in terms of how they're pitched. They're not trying to be cool babyface. They're just themselves, and what they happen to be is loud lads who love wrestling and food and making loud noises. They're so easy to get behind. I'd love to see them live. I bet they're great in a live setting.
Oh, I bet that coconut loop with Hank and Tank are there. The whole place is rocking for Hank and Tank. If you are rocking for Hank and Tank, tell us in the comments down below. Finally, let's talk TNA. A little spoiler ahead because on Saturday they taped a couple of weeks worth of Impact heading into Genesis, which will be headlined by Joe Hendry versus Nick Nemeth for the TNA World title. If he doesn't, do you know what? I'm feeling like Joe Hendry, like I felt about the England squad for the last 20 or 30 years. The men's squad, at least. The women did fantastic.
They did absolutely fine. Yeah.
But the men's squad, I'm looking at you. I feel like Joe Hendry's managed by Gareth Southgate at this point because I just feel like we're getting really close and it's just not happening.
I'm a Gareth defender. I won't have that slander on Gareth's name, unfortunately.
I'm just saying.
No, I
he missed that penalty that time.
I get your
Did
wider...
a Peter advert with a bag on his head?
He did. I get your wider point there, Tom, and I very much agree with it, but I'm just a bit of a Gareth loyalist, I am, unfortunately, and I'm looking forward to his impending knighthood.
Well, that's very true. I'm a Joe Hendry loyalist, and I'm sick of Joe Hendry always being the bridesmaid and never the bride. So that I'm fingers crossed for Genesis. The TV, without giving anything away, lots to build for that match, but there is a little spoiler coming up for something happening at the taping, so if you don't want to hear it, this is the part where we say thank you for watching, stay safe, and love you, bye. You're still here. Wonderful. Let's talk about the X Division title, shall we?
So the TNA X Division champion Moose had a confrontation with his next challenger, Ace Austin, fresh off a singles victory over Trent Seven, I believe, at the pay-per-view. Moose went to pass comment on Chris Bay, who obviously suffered a horrendous injury and is Ace Austin's tag team partner in ABC. And Ace Austin didn't take kindly to this, obviously, and called Moose a piece of crap. But I can't repeat what he had.
SH1T.
1T. You've even typed it there for me. Thank you. I should have just read that. Moose then ended the segment by throwing down the X Division title belt and announcing that at Genesis, he'll unveil a new title. Now, this is interesting. What does that mean?
Well, there was 2 segments on that show I looked at where they do it in 2 segments where Moose throws down the title and says, at Genesis, I'm introducing a new title. I think I know what it's going to be.
Not the Legends title.
No, it's not. This is a wild punt from me, but if I get this right, then I'm going to give myself a bon. So he's been talking online about how he's the franchise, the company, he's won all these belts and stuff. He's now the holder of the X Division Championship. I think he's going to rebrand it the Moose Division Championship.
Right, okay.
So he's going to be the Moose Division champion, Moose. And I think there'll be a belt with a moose on it that'll replicate that. And I think it's just going to be something similar to what your best friend MJF did when he came to the UK with the United States title.
Yes.
Just bestowing the virtues of Moose until somebody beats him for it and rebrands it the X Division title.
It's a trope we've seen throughout wrestling history. I remember when I was a kid, Lance Storm rebranding the WCW United States title into the Canadian belt. I think that it's a relief to me to hear you say that, because I was worried that this was legitimately them getting rid of the X Division title. Where if it's just a heel version of the title until someone finally beats him for it and they bring back the glory of the X Division belt, that's cool.
I think that's what it's got to be.
They wouldn't get rid of such a storied and such a key part of their promotion's history.
I think the belt is so important. There's been times in the past where they've gone, oh, we need a mid-card belt. How about the Legends belt, the TV title, the Global belt? And they've realised, oh wait, our mid-card belt has been right here all along. It's the X Division title.
Yeah, it's everything they ever want.
That.
It's everything they ever need. Yeah. It's there right in front of them. This
is where you want to be.
Jeff Jarrett sat in the back row of a theatre just smiling like he's at peace now. He knows what he wants, and it's the X Division title.
Riding an elephant to the theatre to watch his daughter dancing.
And he passes it over to Scott D'Amore. But then it all went a bit wrong.
I really want to watch The Greatest Showman again now.
Yeah.
Is it a Christmas film am I allowed to?
I think that's a Christmas sort of... It's not a Christmas film, but it's a film you can watch at Christmas, certainly.
It's a Christmassy film, isn't it? We might do that. So my punt is the Moose Division title until, I don't know, someone like a Leon Slater finally racks up the W's enough to beat Moose.
Well, I hate him in North.
Hate him in North.
But I love him elsewhere.
Love him on TNA.
Fantastic talent. Horrible guy in the
wrestling bit. Yeah. In the Northeast, he's very arrogant these days. Everywhere else, we love the bones off him. Yes. So speaking of titles, coming soon, a retrospective on the Winged Eagle Championship. Everything you ever needed to know about that gorgeous... here it is here. Look, there it is. There it is. Borrowed from Andrew Dingle, the reigning Cultaholic Predictions champion. Everything you ever wanted to know about this bad boy. Isn't it a lovely belt?
It's a lovely belt.
Oh, God. It's just, for me, that is, when I look at that is a wrestling title.
I'm just getting quite scared. The more you hold it up, the more chance there is of Kevin Owens crashing into this room and going, it's my belt now!
Put it there then, just in case. And for the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.